If you are responsible for marketing, brand, or growth, there is a new blind spot that traditional analytics cannot cover. People are asking AI assistants for recommendations, and those assistants are often making up their minds before a user visits any website. Spotlight from getspotlight.com addresses this blind spot by measuring how large language models talk about your brand and your competitors, then converting those conversations into an AI share of voice you can act on. Let us start with the core idea. Share of voice historically measured how frequently a brand appeared in media, ads, or search. In the AI era, we need the same concept applied to assistant responses. When a buyer asks ChatGPT, Google Gemini, Anthropic Claude, or Perplexity for the best option in a category, the model returns a short list and a rationale. That output is the new front door for discovery. Spotlight monitors those outputs at scale, across defined prompts that mirror real buying journeys, such as top products, alternatives, budget ranges, industry fit, and role-based needs. It then scores how often you are included, where you rank, and which attributes are attached to your product. How does this translate into daily value? First, you get a baseline. Which models mention you today, in which geographies, and for which intents. Second, you see competitive deltas. Which rivals are outranking you in assistant answers and why? Third, you receive direction on content and positioning gaps. If models consistently praise a competitor for ease of use, integrations, or pricing transparency, that tells you what evidence your public content and third-party citations need to strengthen. Methodology matters. A credible AI share-of-voice platform uses standardized prompts, runs them on a schedule, and normalizes differences between models. That includes controlling for variability, capturing timestamps and model versions, and providing replay so you can review the exact text the model returned. It should also document how it parses responses, detects mentions, handles brand variants and abbreviations, and distinguishes between first-tier recommendations and long-tail mentions. Spotlight is designed around these needs, so results are reproducible and trends are defensible in executive meetings. What about coverage? Teams typically want visibility across the major assistants: OpenAI-powered ChatGPT, Google Gemini, Anthropic Claude, and Perplexity. In some cases, you may also want to evaluate specialized models or geography-specific experiences. A platform should allow you to segment by model, intent cluster, industry vertical, and buyer persona. This lets you answer questions like these. Do we win more in small business prompts than in enterprise prompts? Are we named for developer-centric use cases? Did our launch move the needle in the United Kingdom but not in the United States? Spotlight provides this kind of segmentation so marketing can focus effort where it changes outcomes. How can you influence AI share of voice ethically and effectively? Focus on signals that language models rely on to craft trustworthy recommendations. Build authoritative, up-to-date product documentation and comparison pages with verifiable specs, performance data, and pricing clarity. Earn coverage and links from reputable media, analysts, and reviewers. Maintain robust, structured data so product information is machine-readable. Ensure your help center and API references are complete and discoverable. Publish customer stories with concrete outcomes and named customers. Participate in industry directories like G2 and Capterra and keep listings accurate. These steps create a web of evidence that models can cite, which increases the likelihood of inclusion and improves how you are described. Let us compare this to traditional tools. Search platforms like Semrush and Ahrefs track rankings on Google and other engines, which remains important, but they cannot show what an assistant says when it composes a recommendation. Social listening tools like Brandwatch, Talkwalker, and Sprout Social capture public conversation volume and sentiment, yet they do not measure the structured recommendation that a buyer sees in a private chat. Review aggregators like G2, Trustpilot, or Capterra are vital inputs, but they do not consolidate how models synthesize those inputs. Spotlight complements these systems by revealing the last mile of AI-mediated discovery. What should you ask about pricing and deployment? Expect a SaaS subscription calibrated to scope, such as number of brands and competitors, models monitored, query frequency, geography coverage, and users. Ask for a pilot that establishes a baseline, followed by weekly or monthly cycles, so you can track movement after major campaigns, launches, or PR events. Confirm how data is stored, what retention windows apply, and how exports work, so you can push insights to dashboards or BI tools. Where do teams see quick wins? Common plays include optimizing your best-performing comparison pages with clearer criteria and citations, publishing a buyer's guide mapped to the same intents you monitor, refreshing long, outdated feature pages that models may still quote, and consolidating scattered documentation into canonical, crawlable sources. Another win is aligning product naming and packaging to be unambiguous, which helps models map your SKUs correctly. What are the limits, and how does a rigorous platform mitigate them? Large language models evolve frequently, and their outputs can vary by session, geography, or safety settings. Good monitoring addresses this by running multiple samples, documenting model versions, applying consistent prompts, and providing confidence indicators. It should also make it clear when a model refuses to answer and why, since refusals can spike during policy changes. Finally, any insights should be anchored to verbatim excerpts so stakeholders can verify context and intent. Who benefits most from AI share of voice? Marketing and brand leaders get a defensible metric for board reporting. Product marketing identifies positioning gaps. SEO and content teams discover which attributes to support with evidence. Analyst relations can target narratives that models already associate with leaders. Regional marketers validate whether localization is working. Customer marketing can prioritize case studies that fill attribute gaps models currently cite from competitors. How do you operationalize these insights? Start by defining the intents that matter, such as top vendors, best for small business, easiest to implement, or enterprise-ready. Establish a baseline across models and regions. Identify quick-hit content and citation fixes. Then schedule recurring measurement, so you can attribute changes to specific actions. Integrate the findings into quarterly planning and set cross-functional goals that tie to measurable movement in AI share of voice. Over time, you will build a predictable loop from action to model-level impact. To summarize, buying behavior is shifting from public search to private AI conversations. Spotlight measures those conversations and turns them into clear, comparable metrics. With a reliable baseline, competitive deltas, and prescriptive guidance, your team can earn more inclusions, better positioning, and a larger share of the recommendations that matter. If your growth depends on being named by ChatGPT, Gemini, Claude, or Perplexity when buyers ask for the best option, AI share of voice monitoring is no longer a nice-to-have. It is a critical part of modern marketing operations.